God can be defined, more or less, as the highest being, that than which nothing greater can be conceived, and so on. Yahweh, on the other hand, does not mean anything to us but what Yahweh is and does in the Old Testament. The name is nothing more than a referent to the person. Yahweh is the name of the state god of the ancient kingdom of Israel and, later, the kingdom of Judah. His name means he who makes that which has been made and is composed of 4 Hebrew consonants, YHWH, known as the Tetragrammaton, which the prophet Moses is said to have revealed to his people. As the name of the Supreme Being was considered too holy to be spoken, the consonants YHWH were used to remind one to say the word Adonai, Lord, in place of the God's name, a common practice throughout the Near East in which epithets were used in referencing a deity. All of these stipulations and details were applied to the god later. However, it is unclear exactly when Yahweh was first worshipped, by whom, or how. Scholar Nassim Amzalag, of Ben Gurion University, disagrees with the claim that Yahweh's origins are obscure and argues that the deity was originally a god of the forge and patron of metallurgists during the Bronze Age, circa 3500 to 1200 BCE. Amzalag specifically cites the ancient copper mines of the Timna Valley, in southern Israel, biblical and extra-biblical passages, and similarities of Yahweh to gods of metallurgy in other cultures for support. Although the Bible, and specifically the book of Exodus, presents Yahweh as the God of the Israelites, there are many passages which make clear that this deity was also worshipped by other peoples in Canaan. Amzalag notes that the Edomites, Kenites, Moabites, and Midianites all worshipped Yahweh to one degree or another, and that there is evidence the Edomites who operated the mines at Timna converted an earlier Egyptian temple of Hathor to the worship of Yahweh. Although the biblical narratives depict Yahweh as the sole creator God, Lord of the universe, and God of the Israelites especially, initially he seems to have been Canaanite in origin and subordinate to the supreme god El. Canaanite inscriptions mention a lesser god Yahweh, and even the biblical book of Deuteronomy stipulates that the Most High, El, gave to the nations their inheritance and that Yahweh's portion is his people, Jacob, and his allotted heritage, 32 to 8 to 9. A passage like this reflects the early beliefs of the Canaanites and Israelites in polytheism, or, more accurately, henotheism, the belief in many gods with a focus on a single supreme deity. The claim that Israel always only acknowledged one God is a later belief cast back on the early days of Israel's development in Canaan. The meaning of the name Yahweh, as noted, has been interpreted as he who makes that which has been made, or he brings into existence whatever exists, though other interpretations have been offered by many scholars. In the late Middle Ages, Yahweh came to be changed to Jehovah by Christian monks, a name commonly in use today. The character and power of Yahweh were codified following the Babylonian captivity of the 6th century BCE, and the Hebrew scriptures were canonized during the Second Temple period, circa 515 BC to 70 CE, to include the concept of a Messiah whom Yahweh would send to the Jewish people to lead and redeem them. Yahweh as the all-powerful creator, preserver, and Redeemer of the universe was then later developed by the early Christians as their God who had sent his son Jesus as the promised Messiah, and Islam interpreted this same deity as Allah in their belief system.